One of the most popular ways to light your videos for YouTube, interviews, or otherwise is to use LED light panels for video. And the reason for this is they're often more affordable and versatile than a lot of different lights out there on the market. So today we're going to talk about the Sokani X50 in particular, and I'm going to tell you what I like about this light kit. And then I'm also going to show you how I would use this kit or a kit just like this, if you have something similar, to light your videos. Let's get into it. And let's make it simple. Greetings and salutations, my friends. My name is Travis, aka Dad, and welcome to Dad Does Tech. I'm just an ordinary dad who loves tech and camera stuff, and my goal is to help you find the right gear and get the most out of it. The Sokani X50 LED panel light kit comes in at a retail price of $340. However, if you were to jump out to Amazon today, there is a $50 coupon available today, bringing that light panel price down to $290 for the kit. In the kit, you will get 2 large LED panels with their power supplies and a remote that will control both of them, as well as 2 light stands that are ultra portable and lightweight, and a nice carrying bag. The Sokani X50 LED lights that come with this kit are honestly really solid. And I mean that quite literally because they are completely metal in their construction with the exception of the control panel on the back. They feel really durable and have a great design. The little blue on the corners is really nice and flashy, and they feel really premium, and they look it as well. The back has a heat vent for great heat dissipation to allow you to run the lights at 100% for long periods of time without having them overheat. The front of the light has a built-in diffusion panel allowing you to diffuse the light a little bit so it's not so harsh on whatever you're lighting, as well as barn doors that are fully metal in their construction, allowing you to cut and shape light a little bit better, which is usually one of the biggest weaknesses of LED panels. The LED panels are utilizing a giant metal U-bracket, allowing the panels to move easily up and down for tilting to get the right angle of your light when you're trying to position them. When considering buying lights for your videos, I often recommend to people to consider buying bicolor lights. Now, the reason for this is because when you have bicolor lights, you have the flexibility to adjust the color temperature to match the lights already in your scene or match lights to each other. Fortunately, these lights are bicolor and you have color temperature adjustments from 2800 Kelvin all the way to 10,000 Kelvin, which will help you nail your white balance every time. These lights are also RGB lights, which means you can use them as a white light to light a subject, or you can use them in more creative aspects with colors, and you have access to the hue knob where you can switch it from 0 all the way to 360 to get different shades of color. On top of that, you can also adjust the saturation and intensity to further customize those colors to get the exact colors you want. As an added bonus, these lights also include a special effects mode that has 10 different special effects, as well as 10 different speed settings for these special effects. And so that means that if you need creative lights for things like police lights or ambulances or a TV flicker or lightning, you can dial in those lights to do those special effects and at the speed that you want. As far as light output goes, when these lights were set to 5600 degrees Kelvin or daylight temperature, these lights achieved a lux output of 5,260 lux at half a meter and 1,387 lux at 1 meter. The quality of the light coming out of these LED panels is pretty solid, and it comes in at a nice CRI of 96+. These lights can be powered using their included power supplies, or you can use Sony NPF batteries. I like to use the third-party versions. I use Newer and DSTE batteries. If you need a pair of those, I'll have them linked down below, but you may already have some because they are often used to power a lot of different filmmaking gear. Using those Sony NPF batteries I just mentioned, I was using the F970s. I was able to get about an hour and a half at full brightness with this light, and at 50%, I was able to get a little bit over 3 hours and 15 minutes. So if you're somebody who likes to have a nice clean setup without a bunch of cables running to your lights, this is a really good option as long as your shoots are a little on the shorter side or you have a nice supply of batteries just in case they go dead. These lights can be put on channels and grouped together, and if you wanted to buy more of these panels and group them together, you can do that too. You're not limited to 2, and they can all be controlled from the same remote, which is pretty great. However, this remote is huge. This remote looks and feels just like something out of the 80s that belonged to an old box TV, something you'd pick up at Radio Shack. I mean, I'm rocking a Google Pixel 4 XL, and this thing's only about 30% smaller. I've had phones that were smaller than this thing. Hello? As comically large as this remote is, it does work well and is reliable, and I haven't had any issues with it. And it does have a function that I greatly appreciate, and that's that it automatically turns off. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Godox SL60W. This light kit also comes with 2 ultra portable light stands that go to each of these lights, and they're very interesting in their design because they're not like traditional light stands. They fold in a different direction, which gives them a little bit more portability in their form factor. However, this compact form factor does seem to have a little bit of a downside in that they don't seem to be quite as strong and wouldn't be able to hold up larger lights that had light modifiers or softbox on the front, or they would probably just tip over. However, I didn't have any issues using these light stands with these LED panels. I do wish they were a little bit taller, but beggars can't be choosers. When you've got small, compact style for your light stands, they're probably not going to get super tall or be super sturdy at that taller height. The nice thing though is that they are super small and compact, so they're gonna not take up too much space when you're trying to transport them or store them, and they're super lightweight and not gonna be a burden to carry. If I was Sokani, the only thing I would consider changing about these lights going forward is maybe a beefier light stand versus a portable light stand. And also I would consider adding mobile app support so you can change the lights when you don't have the remote or if you want to achieve further distances. Not that it really matters to me that much because I prefer a hard remote over a mobile app most of the time. One of the most obvious ways to use an RGB light, regardless of its size, whether it's a big panel or a small one, is to use it for backlighting to give your wall or background a different color, and that just makes the wall or background pop a little bit more. I'm using an RGB pocket light behind me right now, and that's what's making this wall green, and that's just making the shot a little bit more interesting. This can also be extremely useful if you're trying to create thumbnails for YouTube and you want to change the color of the background or the surface in which you're shooting against to make your thumbnail pop a little bit more. Or if you want to cast a color over an object in your thumbnail to give it a little bit of a glow, that looks pretty good and makes your thumbnails pop a bit more. Another way you may want to take advantage of using these lights is to use them as your main light, your key light, or a fill light to light you as a subject in your videos. When placing your key light, you'll look forward and you'll reach to the left or the right roughly 45 degrees, and that is roughly the placement of where your main light should be. Now for you, you can choose which side you want to place that main light. You may have a side of your face that you feel like is just the better side, and that's the side you want to be more pronounced. For me, it's my left. Actually, it's just the only position I can put it, which gives me a walkway to be able to get to and from my desk. Once you've got your light positioned up and away at about 45 degrees, you'll want to get it nice and tight so it's as close as it possibly can be without being in your shot. And you'll notice that the light is now hitting one side of your face and leaving the other side of your face more in shadow. You'll also notice a nice drop shadow appearing underneath your chin, and this is a very appealing look to most people. However, you may find that the opposite side of the face that isn't being lit by your main key light is too much in shadow. If you find that the shadow on the opposite side of your face is just a little bit too harsh for your liking, what you can do is you can take your second light and place it at a 45-degree angle on the opposite side, but now you're going to turn it to a lower brightness than your key light just to lighten up the shadows a little bit. Not too much that they take away the shadows completely, but just enough that they're not so pronounced. Alternatively, if you like the shadow on the opposite side of your face, or if you have a third light available, this is when you would add your third light, the rim light. When placing your rim light, kicker light, or hair light, whatever it is you want to call it, you're going to place it exactly the opposite of your main key light. So if the key light's facing down, hitting the left side of your face, and it's up and away to the left, your rim light is going to be back behind you to the right, and it's going to be facing down towards your shoulder and your hair, illuminating the right side of your body, the right side of your face, and the right side of your hair, creating a little bit of a glow that creates some separation from your background, and it's just one of the things you can do to make your videos look way more professional with lighting. Now, if you're planning on using an LED panel as your main key light, one of the things you'll probably notice right away is that the shadows on the opposite side of your face when you're using this lighting style become much more pronounced than, let's say, me talking right now. And now the reason for that is sheer size of the light source for your key light. The larger the light source, the more light wrap you'll have around your face when the light is hitting you from an angle, creating a more gradual fall off of shadows instead of really harsh, rigid shadows. This is often why you'll see so many YouTubers using things like the Aperture 120D and these large light domes and softboxes. It's because it's creating a larger light source by having that big wide softbox on the end of it to have more wrap around the face. So now we're going to try and achieve that with an LED panel. Pro tip, if you're trying to use an LED panel as your main key light, invest in a 3-in-1 reflector. This one I'm using in this video is from Newer. They're about 15 to 20 bucks. And you can take the white diffusion side and you're going to place it in front of your LED panel. And now your light source has grown to roughly 42 inches wide is the width of that reflector. And all of a sudden you're going to see so much more light wrap around your face, and it's also going to diffuse the light even further, making the light softer and eliminating a lot of the hot spots you would see from LED panels on your face. By using a C-stand with a boom arm or a light stand, you could just simply take a clamp and clamp your reflector right in front of your LED panel, and you're going to find that you're going to get pretty darn good results. In the end, I think the big takeaway here is that you want the biggest light source possible and that you can get similar looks with different lights. It's just a matter of how easy it is to achieve that look with the light you have. Using Cobb LED style lights with Bowens mount modifiers for large softboxes is definitely going to be the easiest way to get a soft light with a big light source that has a nice flattering look for your videos. But those lights are going to be a bit more expensive and require a bit more investment than a light panel. A light panel is definitely going to be significantly cheaper, and all you're going to need is a 3-in-1 reflector and some clamps. On top of that, an LED panel with RGB capabilities is a little bit more versatile and giving you more creative components than a Cobb LED that only has daylight balance or maybe bicolor. In the end, it really comes down to your specific needs and what your budget will allow you to do as far as lighting for your videos. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this video. So if you have any questions about lighting in general or the Sokani X50 light kit, feel free to drop them in the comments section down below. I will have the kit linked up in the description if you want to check it out and see if that sale for the $50 off is still going. But yeah, so if you like this video, found it helpful or mildly entertaining, go ahead and smash that like button and click subscribe and that little bell icon so you get notified when I make new videos. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later. Looking for somebody, but let me